Good morning. I don't know what time it is. It's a late one. But we had to bring you the news. Of course, the news was broken today that West Ham have actually went ahead and signed Craig Dawson from Watford on loan for the rest of the season. And, I feel like we were going to do him a bit of a disservice if we weren't going to do a video welcoming him to the club, because we've been doing that throughout the time we've been doing these the channel. So we've always been welcoming players, and I think it's not right that we don't do this for this player, even though it might not fill you with a lot of joy by signing Craig Dawson. He is going to be a West Ham player. He's pulling on the West Ham top. He's pulling on the claret blue of West Ham, and us as fans have to get by him, back him 100% all the way through it. So, I was going to do this video tomorrow, but got a busy day tomorrow. So I thought to myself, if I've got a few minutes in the night, it's late. We've never done this before. We've never done a midnight show. Don't know how many people will watch. We just put it out randomly, see what happens, see if we've got a midnight trade, and we'll go from there. But like today announcement was, West Ham don't really hide anything anymore. It was kind of what we expected to hear. I put out a transfer show earlier today, telling you the news of Craig Dawson potentially coming in. I know you've probably seen it all over social media, and like I said, I know it doesn't fill you with a lot of joy, but Craig Dawson has signed for West Ham on loan till the end of the season. I believe the West Ham are paying him 30k a week to join us. Apparently, though, the original contract was potentially going to be for 3 years. We were potentially going to be signing him for 3 years, but we opted against that. And I don't know if that's got anything to do with the Benrahma deal. As you'll have heard earlier tonight, that West Ham are in talks to sign Benrahma from Brentford. It hit a little bit of a snag, but it's not a snag that West Ham can't get over the line. And I don't know if that's had anything to do with the deal of Dawson and taking away the 3-year contract. Whether or not that was true, I'm not too sure. But either way, the loan deal is better than the 3-year contract, in my opinion. We've got a 30-year-old centre-half who has, in last year, played over 29 games for Watford in the Premier League. We know they got relegated, but do you know what? Within reason, he's a kind of no-nonsense defender. This is what this video is about. It's just trying to let you know what he potentially brings to the occasion. He started off his career at Radcliffe Borough before making a move to Rochdale, where he played for Rochdale for over 46 appearances, scoring 10 goals at his time there. So obviously he got noticed and signed for West Bromwich Albion, where he made 194 appearances for the club. I'm just trying to get an image up, and I don't know what's taking it so long, so apologies if it's taken so long to come up there. He actually scored 14 goals, but here's an interesting stat for you. Out of his whole time whilst playing at West Brom and in the Premier League, he's made over 182 appearances. I mentioned this on Stell's West Ham Weekly show last night. He's made over 182 appearances in the Premier League, scoring 14 goals. He's been involved in 47 wins and 84 losses. But an interesting fact for you is that he's actually never had an error leading to goal. Now, if I compare that to the West Ham current defenders at the back, when you look at Issa Diop, he's actually had 2 errors leading to goals from 67 appearances for the club. Balbuena's had 42 appearances for the club and has had 2 errors leading to goal. Augie has had over 130 appearances for the club with 2 errors leading to goal. And before him, the last defender that in his whole career so far at West Ham who's not had an error leading to goals, Winston Reid. So, maybe there's something in Craig Dawson. I mean, it's not going to fill me with a huge amount of joy. I will come on to the comments in a minute. I see people are actually here, which is surprising to me. I mean, I'm knackered. I need to go to my bed soon, but I thought I'd bring you this video anyway. So, West Ham have failed in many bids to try and bring in players, especially in the centre-half position. You've got to weigh it all up, though. Tarkowski, £40 million is what Burnley were wanting, and I'm glad West Ham didn't pay that amount of money for him. I've always been the kind of fan that turn around and says, if you want the guy, go and get him. But at the end of the day, for the age he was and for the price they were looking for, do I think he would have made a difference for the side? Yes. Do I think it's a risk? West Ham really, really can't be taking too many big risks paying that amount of a fee to bring in a player like that, who, we don't know if he's going to hit the ground running, etc. We know what he can do at Burnley, but he's got to fit into the equation. So getting Dawson could be a short-term solution. I believe it is a short-term solution, and that could be related to the emergence back again of Balbuena's performances over the start of the season. In particular, the last 2 games, West Ham have had 2 clean sheets, and Moyes might be sitting there thinking, we've got Diop coming back into the wings, we've got Balbuena, we've got Ogbonna. Can't we get by until the winter window? Quite possibly, when we can maybe reset and reevaluate the defence. I'm not happy. I've always said from day dot we need to expand and get better central defenders. And I don't think Dawson adds or can challenge a first team spot. But I tell you what, go for it, mate. Go and try it. Go and try and knock one of those defenders off their starting spot, and you try and prove all the West Ham fans wrong. Let me just state, though, that I am not against you, and I really hope you do the best for our club, because that's exactly what we need. But he brings experience, a huge amount of experience to that back 4 lineup. He's got the most Premier League appearances between all of our current defenders that are there. So, maybe it's a bit of a shrewd bit of business by West Ham. Moyes is going to be signing off on these players, so Moyes must have seen enough to bring him in as a backup. I agree. I want to see a lot of the youth coming through the setup at West Ham, and I think the player like Alessi, who I mentioned earlier in the transfer video, could be that guy who could really make the step up. So, but we do need cover. We absolutely need cover. And the cool thing about Dawson is he can play also along the back of the back 4. So it's an interesting one. Let's have a look at some more stats from him. In his whole Premier League career, he's been involved in 40 clean sheets. He's actually also made over 264 tackles with a success rate of nearly 75%. So he's all right. He's got 35 block shots. He's been involved in 333 interceptions, 843 clearances. So, he gets in and about it all. He's never had a red card in the Premier League, but we'll see. What do you guys think? I will come onto the comments in a minute, but let me again go back into letting you know more about him and his career so far. So, like I said, he joined West Bromwich Albion back in August 2011 before being called up to the England under-21 setup. And it was actually by Stuart Pearce. So Stuart Pearce knows him from the under-21 setup. And then he actually scored twice in his debut against Azerbaijan in a 6-0 victory. He was also named in the Great Britain squad that for the London 2012 London Olympics, appearing in the group stage win over Uruguay and scoring in the penalty shootout defeat by South Korea in the quarterfinals. And like I said, he established himself as a regular starter with West Brom. Like I said, initially covering himself on right back and then moving into the centre back position, making over 225 appearances for West Bromwich Albion before then making the move back in 2019 for £4 million to Watford at the time. And like we said, we know where he has where the Watford have gone. They got relegated, etc. So here's some images of Dawson at West Ham, and he seems really delighted to be here, and I think he's going to be a model professional. Again, like I said, am I over the moon? Does he inspire me? Absolutely not. But we've got to give him a chance. How many signings have we been massively inspired by who have not worked out for West Ham? A huge amount of players. So maybe we've got to give this guy the benefit of the doubt and just give him a shot. So here's some pictures of him in his days at Rochdale. He also went on and played for Bolton Wanderers, where in actual fact he actually scored quite a few goals. In his Bolton career, he actually played over 16 times, scoring 4 goals. When he was at Rochdale, though, he played over nearly 80 or 90 games and scored 20 goals. So for a centre half, like the guy's got goals. He scored 14 Premier League goals in his career. You know, there's not many defenders that can shout about for that. Anyway, let's get into some of the comments and see what we are saying. And like I said, just keep hitting the thumbs up, etc. I know it's late. So, Neil, hope you're doing well, mate. It's 9:39 on a Tuesday morning. I'm bringing you a exciting show for you in the morning. At least you're not up late. I'm giving you one tonight. So, well, giving you one. It sounds really dodgy. Pop, howdy ho. Hope you're well, mate. James Fever. If said Barami doesn't go through, what's the alternative? But I think Benrahma will go through. I'm reasonably positive about that deal, to be honest. If it doesn't go through, I think the alternative is moving straight for Josh King, it looks like. I'd love for us to sign both of the players, but I can't see that happening. Nigel Turner, some of us are night birds, so this is early. Fushizi, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. It is a late one. I just thought I'm not going to have time really to do a video tomorrow unless we do sign Benrahma, but it's not going to happen tomorrow because he is on international duty playing in Holland. And I think he gets left out like on Tuesday night is when he can fly home, etc. So I believe West Ham are trying to book a medical or have booked a medical for Wednesday. Pop, we're dangerous in the air. Yeah, hopefully. Good time for me for it is, mate. I hope you're enjoying it, Neil. Good day, Neil. Same here, mate. Yeah, glad you're talking to each other. Moyes has to deal with our board, unfortunately. Paul, I agree. Listen, I'm not a board lover whatsoever. I'm completely the opposite to that, if I'm being brutally honest. We don't ram on about GSB out, etc. on the channel because we try and give you a kind of middle point view from a West Ham fan, but I certainly can't ever really support the owners, to be honest. So David Lawrence Graham, decent defenders. Dawson, give him a chance. Absolutely, mate. I think we need to. West Ham, Dalek, what's happened to the Benrahma deal? I think there's just been a little bit of a niggle in the negotiations, we believe, but I think it's something West Ham can come over, but we all know it's West Ham and we can screw it up, so let's hope we don't. James Fever, good loan, that's it really, but if that's all we get and no other, it's a poor transfer window. I completely agree with you, mate. If it's the only player we sign in this transfer window apart from Sofal, then I'll be absolutely disappointed. The but I'm going to say is that we do need to give Dawson a chance, and I do think it's a good signing. I don't think he's been brought in to start. I think he's been brought in as a backup, and it's a good backup with a huge amount of Premier League experience. Dawson will probably sign for free considering the Ngaka compensation from Watford. I've seen that, but I do think it's a bit of okay business. I think, if you put two and two together and you think that Moyes is desperate to bring in a defender, but they're not going to pay over the odds for a defender like Tarkowski, and that's what the price is getting asked. I seen there was lots of other players we were linked to, like Ta from the German club, but they're asking for a large fee for a player that's not Premier League proven. And I get we need to bring in these players, but sometimes you can't. There was a comment on a radio show where I can't remember his name, and they were just basically saying, do West Ham want to have their pants pulled down by Burnley? Absolutely not, and we can't afford to do that because clubs know West Ham, will inflate the price because they think West Ham will pay the money because we're erratic like that. That's the thing we need to change. That's the thing we absolutely need to change. We need to change the erraticness of the way that we spend money and how clubs expect us to then sign a player. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. Neil saying maybe it's just to fill in until Reid comes back from the States. Listen, I don't want to bark on about it all the time, but I think I see a lot of comments on Winston Reid and people have completely forgotten what that guy has done for our club and potentially, if fit, what he still can do for the club because he's still got years in him as long as he can play football. He's played 7 consecutive games over in MLS and he's looking all right. Yes, it's at MLS, but it's absolutely perfect for him just now. And his loan deal does come at the time in the winter window, so maybe he does come back in and it lets the Moyes reset and decide if they're going to bring in another defender. Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze there, but I'm not. David Lawrence Graham, he's a great lad as well. Good pro. Yeah, hopefully, mate. I think so. Pop. Time for a new keeper. I've been saying it for a while. I'm really excited by our young players, but I get really kind of disappointed that we don't give the young keepers and haven't given the young keepers a shot or a shout out. Randolph, a lot of people, especially Irish fans, give him so much credit. And I do think he's a good keeper. I remember being part of the Irons United at the start. We always had Team Randolph or Team Adrian, and there was always that kind of battle in there. But I think Randolph's got enough. But I think we've got a lot of youth players, and I think I'd like to see maybe Trott make the step up, etc. And we'll just see. But I just don't see it with West Ham, to be honest. And there's plenty of clubs all over Europe that do give a lot of the younger players a shout. James, modern professional. I do think he is, mate. I really do think he is, and I think we've got to give him a shout. But, is he first choice for me to sign Dawson? Absolutely not. He's here. I'll back him. That's exactly what we've got to do as West Ham fans. Has Benrahma joined us? Not yet, mate, but hopefully soon. I think it'll be a good signing. Paul Beersley, bargain basement players only. Nigel Turner, how tall is he? 6'2", mate. And Paul Beersley taller than Sully. I don't know who isn't taller than him. Fushizi, strange transfer window. We needed to buy quality defenders and instead spent $5.5 million on 2 defenders. Fushizi, though, I know you're not saying, right, listen, if you're watching this, I know you're not particularly saying that just because we spend £15 million on a defender, it means they're going to be a good defender. So I know you're not saying that. And it is a strange window because I know we needed to, strengthen in that area. We still do have days left. I'm not so confident we'll go in and sign another defender now. But, things have happened. The but is, though, Sofal does look like a decent find, and I'm all for that. We could have all said that about Souček. Who knew about Souček? Who knew about what he was going to come in and do? And potentially Sofal could also come in and offer that. And at the end of the day, apart from signing a £40 million centre-half, out with that, who's going to come back in and take his position? There was only one other defender I wanted West Ham to go and sign. That was a Japanese lad. I think we could have got the guy for £15 million. He plays in Italy just now. I can't remember his name. His name just totally goes by me. And I think he would have definitely been worth the gamble, to be honest. But hey-ho, West Ham obviously, or Moyes has a plan. And I think, we need to remember we're halfway through October. We've got November, December, and then we're into the winter window straight away because we've got a delayed transfer window. So we'll see. Pop is going to be a first-team player. I'm not too sure, mate. I don't think he is. But, West Ham's history of injuries might give him a chance sooner rather than later. A gnome than Sully. I think Dawson will be a decent backup, to be fair. I do, mate. I really do as well. West Ham, Dalek. Benrahma won't come to us. I think he will. I think the deal's potentially going to be 65k-ish a week, which is wanting. And I think the potential problem with West Ham and Brentford in the deal just now is maybe the add-ons that Brentford want. I think they're looking for some realistic targets. So basically what they're saying is we want the full money and not some pointless targets to work towards. Billy Luxon, 120k a week for King is ridiculous. Completely agree with you, mate. I think it is, although I do like Josh King and I think he'd be a really good asset, a good signing for West Ham. But I certainly probably wouldn't, so not probably, I certainly wouldn't pay 120k a week. Although what I am going to say to you is, if you look at his goal scoring record, it's very good, mate. And at international level with Norway, 17 goals in 50 games. And if you look at that through a career of someone else playing in a different league, i.e. Chicharito, for example, who plays at the top of the game, scored goals all his life, West Ham will happily pay him 120k a week, but won't play a player who's a little bit younger, who can find the back of the net, that amount of money. Would he add goals for West Ham? I genuinely think he would. Therefore, is he worth 120k a week? I'm not sure, but do you know what? It's up to you to make that decision, isn't it? So Fushizi, Dalek, Benrahma's 50-50 transfer. Max, merit, suspension and injuries. Do you know what? I think he's a model professional. It looks like he's not had a huge amount of injuries in his whole career, but I can find out that stats for you if you give me 2 minutes, and I'll get that back up here. It looks like I've got it up. So yeah, just a knee injury back in the 17-18 season. He was out for 12 games. But apart from that, he seems to be, fingers crossed, a reasonably fit defender. James Fever, he's okay, but Agbona Diop in the general, he won't get in unless we go with 3 at the back. Completely agree with you, mate. Let me see where I am with the comments, because there's been quite a few that have just jumped. Again, don't know what's happened here. Let's see where I got to. There we are. Where are we? Can't find it. Here we are. West Ham, Dalek. I like Dawson. Shame West Brom sold him to Watford, and Watford are kind that they loaned Dawson to us. I don't dislike Dawson. It's not an inspiring signing for us, but it could be a good move, and I can remain reasonably confident with it. I'm not going to be bashing him or the signing, because at the end of the day, we could easily sign a player for 16 million quid and he could be a complete and utter failure. It'd be a shit failure for West Ham, because we've been used to that. How many players have we signed over the last few years? 10, 12, 15, 16 million pounds that have been crap and not worked out. Can't name. I don't even want to name them. One new notification: Dawson is a hammer. Stood on the North Bank with his cousins as a kid. Alvin Martin was his favourite player. Love it. Nothing beats a bit of a fairy tale. Paul Beasley, wages could be capped, in my opinion, 100k. Be interesting to see what's going to happen, because something needs to happen with the leagues. Foshizi Max, I doubt he'll start often. James, this will mean nothing if King or Benrahma don't sign. I do agree with you. If I'm being brutally honest, we need to go and sign at least one of those players to make this window look more like an attractive. Will Benrahma or King add value and something to our squad and potentially first team? Absolutely. Will Dawson? Probably not. Will he have an effect on the squad? Yes. Will he help that squad? Yes. Will he play game time for West Ham? Yes. But Benrahma and King are vital for West Ham to try. For me personally, Benrahma is the one we should be going all out for, because he's creative, he's exciting. When fans are back in the stadium, he'll get people up off their bums and getting excited about a game, and that's what we need to do. Jack J Hammer, what's going on, mate? I am knackered and I'm on at midnight, and I've got work tomorrow, and I've got the kids, and it's just like my wife's going to be shouting at me. She probably can hear me now and shouting down here saying, "Shut up, stop talking about West Ham." Moy said he will use the youth. I really hope he does, mate. I hope he puts his actually backs up what he says. Great that you're on this time of night. Top marks, Anton. Peter Cannon, hope you're well, Peter. Thank you for joining the chat. Get the comments in, people, where we're on. And listen, it's just Alf actually suggested coming on late for a few shows, etc., but I just thought I've not got time to do a show tomorrow, so we'll see. Foshizi, Dawson will be fifth choice, centre back behind Dogbonna, Diop, Balbuena and Creswell. Yeah, especially if we play three at the back, and we do have a lot of youth there. And you know what? See, at the end of the day, if Dawson comes in, he's on a cheaper contract. I think he's, you've got to think about, we had Sanchez on our books, and Dawson's earning a lot less than Sanchez. He's got a lot of Premier League experience, so he knows the Premier League, and he knows, he might be there to help the younger players, and also some of the players we've currently got, this is the Premier League. I've played against these players. This is what they can offer. Dawson will have been there, done that, wore the t-shirt against most of the Premier League strikers that we'll be facing for the coming months. And if he can add value and give anyone advice, you're going to get it from a player that's been playing in that league for over 180 appearances, albeit he may have been relegated a couple of times from the clubs. But I'm trying to see the positives from it, and there can be. James, I just mentioned, do you know what's holding up with the Benrahma deal? I think that Brentford are being a bit picky with the whole add-ons, etc. So, Stefan Barnes, we are on late tonight. Yep. Let's see. Is it Jim White in the radio show on TalkSport? He hate us. Fashizi, is it possible that Sullivan signs King and Benrahma, providing Dawson has only come on loan? You have all the ITKs saying it's one or the other. Apparently, the rumour is that Moyes is for King and Sullivan is for Benrahma. But our budget states that we can sign both, as long as we can get the both done. And I think it would be good, and I would be excited if those two came in, because I think it would give Moyes really strong possibility to don't know, add more value to that squad. Billy Luxon, brace for the Deeney deadline day announcement. Mate, how many people hate Deeney? How many people hate Deeney? How effective is he in games? I'm not saying I want to sign him, but I wouldn't put it past anyone, a loan deal. But it looks like I think he's going to stay at Watford, mate. I really do. I really think he's going to stay at Watford. Foshizi, Reid was our best defender before his injury. He really was, mate. And to be honest, we lost a lot when he did get injured in that Swansea game, and we've never really replaced him, to be honest. I think we may have missed a trick with not signing Jack Butland from Stoke on the cheat. Liverpool are targeting him as number 2 now. Yeah, absolutely, mate. But I think we've got enough faith in Randolph, if I'm being honest. And, I do think we need to, at some point in the next year, look at a big replacement as a goalkeeper. I'd love to see the youth come through and give that a shot, but I just don't see it happening. James, Sofal Steele at 5.5 million. He's good. Who scouted him deserves respect. I think that was Thomas Socek, mate. Sofal suggested him. James, I think you're reading Socek. Stell, good grief. I think you're saying good grief. I'm up. Yes, I am. Fushizi Tomiyasu from Bologna. That is the player, the Japanese lad. I was excited about him, to be honest, and he does really look like the real deal. He looks like a quality find, and I'm baffled why we don't maybe look at a player like him and bring him in. I think we could have potentially got him over the line for about £12 million. Still, yes, I am awake. Mind you, you've finished work. Well, technically, I'm still working because I'm doing this. So, Fushizi, hi, Still, does the missus know you're not? He's feeding the cats. Apparently, Brentford are playing hardball, and apparently it's pissed off Benrahma. Yeah, I think it probably has. I think it's all related to the add-ons, etc. So, Fushizi, hopefully he hands in a transfer request. I think it will get to that point where their hand will be tied, and they'll just want to get 25 million, 20 plus million for him, and it will have no choice, to be honest. Let's see where we are. Absolutely not worth 120k a week. That would be ridiculous for a player of his age. Yeah, no, listen, I'm not saying he is. I'm just trying to make it comparable to players we have signed in the past of similar age and with similar goal-scoring abilities. I get this blueprint that Moyes is trying to go for, but at the end of the day, if there's players there who can add value and will score goals, and if he came in and scored 20 goals in a season, 16 goals in a season, we'd absolutely snap his fingers off for it. James Fever, we paid Wilshere 100k to sit in the medical room. We absolutely did, mate. Fushizi, King's a good squad player and backup, but 120k is ridiculous. I mean, I don't even know if he is a backup. Right now, in the current West Ham side, I don't think anyone would get into that, because obviously we've come off 2 fantastic victories. But, I don't know. We'll see. Still, Dawson, clever move to bring him in on loan means there's more money to spend on other signings. Abu Aliyah, feel sorry for Dawson, not his fault, it's complete errors, and that we try and embarrassingly rejected by Rudiger. But it is, mate. But we've got to give him a chance, mate. Mr. Mace, the Josh King 120k a week thing is bollocks, told to Clarence Hugh by Sullivan because he wants the Brentford fella. Once again, all linked to the same agent. Total cesspit. Moyes won't get anything he wants. It could be, mate, the strong history of it, but I can't see the player going from 45k to 120k. I mean, if West Ham started doing that, that's like going back to the old Leeds days when Danny Mills walks in and he earns 15 grand and wants to get 45, and bang, Leeds pay it within the first negotiation. So I think it could be a bit of a bullshit story. So we'll see what happens there. Steve Tiley, sign both King and Benrahma, spend the money. Listen, mate, if we get Benrahma over the next couple of days before Friday, I just have a suspicion that they're going to push forward for King. I really do. Everton are sniffing around King as well. They see that there's a player there that can score goals, and so can I. Joking aside, we were in for Dawson once or twice before. I think we wanted him when we went to West Brom. Richard Walton, it's on loan and his wages as cheap as chips, and he is competition for Diop. Listen, at the end of the day, that's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to offer competition for that whole kind of defence. Then it's going to help and have those players looking over the backs and going, shit, we've got a player here that really wants to do something for the club. Do you know what? A player like Dawson will probably come into West Ham with no pressure and look back and go, I'm going to prove all you fucking negative fuckers wrong, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to fight for this shirt because he looks like he wants to fight for the shirt. So I'm going to back the guy. I'm going to back him. Why sell Diangana for 18 million and then go buy Benrahma for 30? Makes no sense. Don't know, mate. Don't know where I'm at with that comment. And listen, we're all entitled to our own opinion, but I think Benrahma is an extremely different footballer to them, and in actual fact, if you weighed them both up, I'd be surprised. I mean, let me know your thoughts. Would you have taken Diangana over Benrahma? Or the only reason you're keeping Diangana because he's a youth prospect? Diangana's played over 17 games in the Premier League for West Ham. Didn't really show much. He showed in something, but he didn't show much. My disappointment, again, repeating myself, is the fact that we found ourselves in a position where we had to sell a prospect. That's the part that annoys me more. Do not want Deeney for love nor money. 32 years of age, let him wallow in the Championship. Even if he scores 12 goals for you in a season, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm only joking. Would be a good backup. Richard Walton, Benrahma's coming on a silly special Souček loan option to buy deal. I wouldn't put that one past him, Richard, to be honest. I wanted Joe Allen. He was good when we linked him up last season. Joe Allen's too slow. Rather, we targeted Billing. I'm more worried about the midfield injury to Souček or Rice, and I'm not convinced we need to bring in a centre midfielder more than a winger or striker, in my opinion. Yet, Stell's really strong agreeing with you with that, mate, to be honest. Benrahma, Antonio Bowen, what an attack that'll be. Anton, go to sleep. You are struggling. I am, mate. Priority should be number 1, centre back, 2, left back, 3, centre mid, 4, striker, 5, right winger. Billy Luxon, yes, James Fornals would be good enough cover for centre midfield. My God, the comments keep coming in still. Dawson is on little money, Benrahma in, and we may just get a central midfield complete for a spot with Declan and Souček. And still, I know we chat, etc. I just don't see the centre midfielder happening. To be honest, they don't see it as a problem. I know us fans do, but yeah, I don't see it. One new notification: Benrahma is easily worth 12 million more than Grady. I do, mate. I do agree. He's done it 2 seasons in a row down in that league. He plays international football for Algeria. And yeah, he does look like he's quality. He's top of the ranks in all the stats throughout his whole career playing at Brentford. So yeah, I think he does look the real deal. I agree about that's why we should be targeting the centre midfielder. We'll see, mate. I don't know. And let's get the last comment in. Peter Canning, I think despite purchases, Moyes will stick with the same team that beat Leicester against Spurs. Would you agree? Yeah, I do agree, mate. I absolutely do. It doesn't matter the signings that West Ham bring in. I think that Moyes needs to stick with that same side because that side has momentum. That side has confidence. And it's only going to take Forsey a bad game. And if we do have Benrahma in the ranks, then he would come in and potentially, take a place of, say, someone like Fornals, etc. So, yeah, I think it will be the same team. We'll be having our preview coming up on Saturday, so we'll hopefully have a Spurs guest coming on for that. Foshizi would have rather kept the Ngana Academy graduate on lower salary already integrated within the squad. What about Manning? Apparently he can play left back and centre midfielder. Surely that's a no-brainer, though. Not for me. Manning is not for me. I know he's versatile, but he's definitely not for me, though. Final though, what percentage do you think we get King or Benrahma? James, in my opinion, I do think Benrahma will happen. I really do. I don't want to be sold another pipe dream again by West Ham board, but I really hope and think Benrahma will happen. So I think tomorrow's going to be a big telling day. He's still on international duty. He gets released tomorrow night, and if West Ham can get him, we'll start to hear kind of snippets of if he's actually going to be attending the medical on Wednesday. So we'll see. But anyway, listen. That's enough of the comments. Tonight's video was all about Craig Dawson. Craig Dawson has officially signed for West Ham on loan from Watford. Get your comments in. Let me know your thoughts on the signing of Craig Dawson to West Ham. Listen, we need to back the guy. And this week, what we have coming up is maybe a couple of transfer specials. Then on Friday night, we're going to do a couple of hours of the transfer deadline day. Don't know if we're going to be in the market by that point, but we'll bring a video to you. Why not? We'll do that. Saturday, we've got a preview coming out for the West Ham Spurs game. And then Sunday, we've got our match day live. And I know Stell's away on holiday. We were thinking of doing a West Ham weekly on the Sunday. But because Stell's on holiday and we've got the game, we might avoid that now. So I need to speak to Stell after this. Anyway, and we'll go from there. Anyway, I've been Anton. Subscribe, comment, like. And you know what? As Stell said, go to bed.